Yes, yes, yes. This is yours truly, the one and only, the executioner. Yes, it's been a long time since I've seen y'all. Big moves, big plans, big future coming your way. But anyway, this is another episode of Wrestle News Buzz. And I have a couple of friends of mine today. And matter of fact, let's just bring them on. There's something going on here. 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, we got some music going on. Yes, this is yours truly, the executioner. We're bringing on live here at Wrestle News Buzz. I got two co-hosts here. The first co-host I want to bring, this is yours truly, Terry the Tate. What up, Terry?
Hello, everybody.
Okay. And my co-host, my other co-host, is yours truly, one and the only Demon Warrior, Paul Dale Roberts.
What's up, everybody? Let's do it.
What's up, Paul? How you doing, man?
Hey, doing fine, doing fine.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's been a long time since I've seen y'all, man, but we're gonna be getting back into this hopefully every Sunday. We're gonna make it happen for y'all. No more of coming back here and there. No, we're gonna keep this thing going every Sunday around this time. So this is yours truly, the squared circle right here. So anything can happen in a squared circle of Wrestle News Buzz. But anyway, Paul, Mr. Terry, do you guys have anything you guys like to say of what's been going on with you guys since, I haven't seen you guys in a while. So I've seen you here and there somewhere else, but here in Wrestle News Buzz, it's been a while. So
I've just been pretty much making different jackets and stuff to post for sale, like custom custom punk patch vests and jackets and stuff like that.
Right. Good, man. Paul, anything going on with you?
Well, I've just been publishing my books, writing articles. I work for 3 magazines and 1 newspaper. I work for Phenomena magazine out of England. I work for Paranormal Underground magazine here in the United States. And I work for Outer Limits magazine in England. And Costa Rica Times, the newspaper. So that in itself keeps me busy because I'm busy writing.
Mm-hmm.
Busy writing. Yeah, and then I do a lot of podcasts. So, in fact, I got a podcast due tomorrow called it's called Divas. Oh yeah, Divas Dimension. And so I'll be on a paranormal panel, and of course too, I'm a paranormal investigator. So I haven't been going to the investigations, but I've been sending my people out. We had one in San Luis Obispo. I didn't feel like driving over there. So I sent Zandine Smith, one of my investigators, down there, and he dealt with it. And then I had some investigators go to Stockton and to a house that's haunted, and they took care of that and did a cleansing. And and then I took them. They went out to another location. Where was that at? Now I can't remember. But you guys are probably wondering what my title is. The nephew of Fedicino Chuy El Lobo Villalobos is my uncle, and he was a former pro wrestler with Pepper Gomez. In fact, Pepper Gomez was his tag team partner for two incidents. and he wrestled with Ray Stevens and Haystack Calhoun. So
nice.
The golden years, man.
yeah, and El Lobo, my uncle, will wear a black ski mask. So
El Lobo. Okay.
yeah,
Hey, rest in peace, El Lobo.
yeah. But there's a lot of things going on in the wrestling world. I mean, we got
man.
Billy Jack Haynes, we got Vince McMahon, we got all kinds of stuff going on. So
Oh yeah. I mean, if you look at the wrestling world right now, a man that was at one point was at the peak of his peak, and that was the Godfather himself, Mr. McMahon. Because
Mhm.
if you look at him, he was a genius. I don't care what anybody say. Yeah, he has his own faults, but the man was a wrestling genius when it comes to his business. Now, if you look at it, okay, 1993, 1992, 91, steroid scandal. That's when it all started back then in the early 90s. They had well, there was a scandal back then by a referee at the time, and not mention no names, but there was a ref, and she pretty much put him out, and a lot of things happen, and Vince kind of thought he can pay people off with this hush money on the first scandal. Now here comes another one. He stopped paying her, and now she wants her money. And now other people are starting to come out. What's going on? What's really going on with Vince McMahon? He made all these billions of dollars of taking people's money. Over half of them are complaining because they haven't gotten paid.
and also too all the things that are very scandalous, which I'm not even really going to mention it. I mean, all you have to do is read about Vince, but horrible things. And now the federal, looks like there's going to be a federal indictment, and he may be facing some prison time.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you think, if you look at the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and I'm sure y'all remember who he was, the $1 Million Man with Virgil. Okay, you look at the $1 Million Man. Who was he betraying? Vince McMahon. He was betraying as a Vince McMahon, another version of him. Hey, I got money. I could do whatever I want. I can eat at the fine dine. I can pay my way. You have a price. He has a price. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. And if you look at those skits with Ted DiBiase, it was a genius move at that time. But if you really watch wrestling, to be honest, but you got to have an open mind and an eye and an ear to see and an eye to see and an ear to hear. Watch a lot of the old school, like WWF superstars. Watch a lot of them. Watch some of the guys that you look at. This is a Vince McMahon. Because he had certain elements about him in some of these characters. Now, some of these characters, like, for an example, outside of Ted DiBiase, who would be a good one, a guy like, I would say it could be more guys like, what's his name? The IRS. Kind of like an IRS guy. Because Vince deals with money with these guys. But over half of these guys were saying that they wasn't getting paid. Some of these guys were saying that Vince wouldn't give them their proper money with the royalties. How did Vince really became a billionaire? He had to take some of these guys' money. He had to gamble. He gambled and made money off it. He flipped. When he did, like he said, he went and did a big risk on WrestleMania. That was a huge risk. He said, man, I put up my house. He borrowed money from different people. and he gambled it, and it was a success. Every WrestleMania has been a success for him outside of this year. This year might be his last one for him to make money off of. This is his last year. So what next year brings, we don't know. They're talking about it being at Las Vegas, Nevada for WrestleMania 41. So we'll see. But Vince McMahon, why would you do to these people and think you can just get away with it? You think that sooner or later the light comes out. Money doesn't buy you everything. And when you stop paying, people start complaining and they want their money. And that's what happened.
That's what the fame and money will do to you.
Not knocking him, not knocking Vince. He's a wrestling genius. I respect his work. I respect his crowd, but maybe him as a person, I really don't know him, so I can't say anything bad or good about the man, but just stories that we hear. Sometimes people will say things because they're mad at this person and they're going to try to bash him. Who knows? Maybe Vince is a good person in real life. We don't know. I don't know the whole story. I wasn't there. So, but hey, it is what it is. But fast forward, done with Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon, may the best luck to you. If you go to prison, I'm sorry. You did that to yourself. I hope you don't. Maybe you might fool people. I don't know. But anyway, have you guys seen that movie, The Iron Claw, with the Von Erichs?
I saw part of it at a friend's house, but I never saw the whole thing.
Brilliant movie. It didn't really. Let's just say it got to the point, key factors of the movie. It spoke good knowledge of the movie, good sense of it. There were certain things they didn't show, certain things they didn't want to put out, and I respect the family for that. I respect for Mr. Von Erich, the last brother that's live. What's his name? Carrie.
They had a lot of bad luck. They had a lot of bad luck.
I think it's Kevin Von Erich that's still alive, and out of them all, and he's got his two boys now. They're into the ring now, the Von Erichs. They're into the wrestling scene now, and they could probably break the curse because their dad did. Their dad lost all his brothers. He's seen all his little brothers go. Even the older brother died, and then his little brothers are gone. One after another, one after another, one after another. I mean, that guy, that family went through hell because of their dad. Their dad, Fritz Von Erich. Fritz, was back in the early 1900s. To the maybe 1930s. That's when he started wrestling. And from a guy coming from Germany, Nazi, he was a Nazi, and did the wrestling with that claw, man. I mean, he had a powerful claw that would just be so deadly, And I remember his boys doing the claw, and man, that's just a dangerous move, very dangerous. But the Von Erichs, the Iron Claw, that was a good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. It's a pretty good movie. So Paul, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, well, let's. There was some people I want to say thank you to, and then we'll go back to wrestling again because I want to talk about Butterbean. The other place that was investigated by my team, the paranormal, was in Oak Park. It was a 100-year-old house. And below that house lived a witch. And the witch cursed the house. And all kinds of terrible things was happening to this lady and her granddaughter. So I sent my team out there, and I want to thank them because they did a cleansing and everything's fine. So if everybody doesn't know it, I'm a paranormal investigator, but I want to thank Tanya Bradbury, Sean Bradbury, Zandine Smith, Rachel Palazzi, and Tina Weiss because they went out there and they did some cleansing. But back to wrestling and back to boxing or whatever. Butterbean. Now, Broadway, I know you know a lot about Butterbean. Can you tell us about Butterbean, and then we'll talk about his disability and everything?
Oh man, I mean, from way back, I mean, God, it had to been at least 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, but a good 20 years ago, 25 years ago, give or take. Let's just give him 30 years under his belt. 25, I know, but 25, Butterbean, he was a good fighter. A lot of people didn't like him, give or take. The man was a big man. He was about 330, 340, and got even heavier at one point at damn near 400 pounds. That's sad. But the man could hit. I mean, the man goes in there with the tough man competition, and a guy named Art. His name was Art. What's his name? Art Donner or whatever his name is. A guy named Art that started the tough man competition. Every time they'll fight, he's on there talking. Get him, Butterbean, get him, get him. Get it. I mean, he's in there talking, and while these guys are fighting, I'm like, dude, how can they fight? This guy's talking, and he's the first commentator could talk during the fight, and everybody can hear it. Even the fighters can hear him talk. And I'm like, damn, this guy is something else. But when we found Butterbean, that was a whole different concept because he never had a fighter like Butterbean. He had some good fighters, but Butterbean was more of that brought tough men to arise into the professional level and went into the professional boxing and made his money. Did he fight big names? No. Was he a name draw? Did he made a lot of money in the professional boxing? Maybe yes, maybe no. Because he wasn't a big factor. He was, but he wasn't. He was a big factor in the tough man. But in the professional, he was a big factor, but they put him into a different place as a fighter. He wasn't a real professional fighter. He was a tough man, professional fighter. A man that would go in there and dance.
Broadway, Butterbean was in a lot of pain, and then he was in a wheelchair. But it seems
what happened to
him? In one of his matches, his hip bone was dislodged.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and then something with his spine. So he's been in a wheelchair. Then he's been walking with a cane. Somehow he's done some exercises. Oh, and Diamond Dallas Page is helping him. He's the one who's like trying to get him back to fit again. And Butterbean wants to do one last fight. So he went from the wheelchair to walking with a cane. No, walking with a walker, then walking with a cane. And now he thinks he's ready to fight again. But he's all hunched back though. So I don't know how he's going to fight.
Yeah, I think he's trying to go against Logan Paul or Jake Paul or something like that.
I don't think he should do that. I think he should just give it up, bro.
Yeah, he's at his prime. He's already done his career,
Butterbean, if you get to watch this, man, please think about it.
We're saying that because we care.
Do you, we care off the hook, we care. Do you really think you have what it takes? I'm not saying you don't, and I'm glad you're not doubting yourself. I'm glad you're saying you could do it. But do you really think, really give a take? Do you really think you have what it takes one more time to knock somebody's head off?
It's just like Ric
You
Flair
have
doing
that drive. Yeah,
just
Ric
like
Flair,
Ric Flair did that last fight, and look at he was all messed up, he was all bloodied. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it
do
was
you do you
that's
really think that was his last fight?
no, I don't know, but it made him look bad. It made him
It
look
did.
really terrible.
Because he wasn't training as well. He
Yeah,
wasn't really taking care of himself.
yeah,
When you health is important, and that's what my friend AG always tells me. Health is very important. And he's right because when I got into the ring the last time, man, I was in there for like 3 minutes and I was out of shape, huffing and puffing. And it was like, damn, man. When you smoke cigarettes and shit and you don't work out, that's what happens. And you drink and you smoke, you do things that you ain't supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please, I don't condone you guys to drink and smoke and all that because that's bad for you. It's not healthy at all. But it catches up on you. But
Yeah, it does.
and that's what it does. It catches up on you later. But what Ric Flair, I don't know. But we're back to Butterbean. Do you think he has what it takes? I don't know. It's possible. I mean, but we don't want to see him go in there and get laid the fuck out. Somebody can go in there and do some tremendous damage on him, and he could be no good after that. He
Or
should
he
just
could
leave it
even
alone. I think he should
sustain injuries to his spine.
oh
just
yeah,
leave it alone. Leave it alone, Butterbean. You had your day. You was the man back then. You was the king of 4 rounders or 3 rounders. You was the man of tough man competition. Your name is being in the Hall of Fame of that. That I could see him being on the Hall of Fame for the tough man competition.
yeah.
You
Go
know,
in as a legend and leave as a legend. I mean,
Mm.
don't leave in disgrace.
yeah. Don't be like Ric Flair or uh, the Rock and Roll Express. They still going.
Oh
And them
God.
guys are them. If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be the Rockers. If it wasn't for the
Mm.
Midnight Express, it wouldn't be the Rockers. That was Vince's. He wanted the Midnight Rockers back then, but guess who said no? And that was AWA. They said no; those are our guys. You know. And then they went to NWA, and then they went to WCW. But Vince says, "Well, fine, fuck it. I'll have my own guys. I'm gonna call them the Rockers, and it will be my own Midnight Express." That was his little throwback at a certain promoter. It's funny how if you can't get these guys, then I'll find a guy that could play another role just like you, but I'll name him a different name. You know,
Mhm.
it's funny. It's funny, but that's just how it goes. You know.
Oh yeah.
But, I wanna talk about one more thing. Wrestling and wrestling is not like how it used to be. It's like if you watch wrestling now, it does not hold my interest.
Yeah, it
It
Doesn't.
doesn't
doesn't
hold
have
on.
the excitement
There's
it
no
used to.
there's no there's no story. There shouldn't be no of a storyline. The storyline is this. Let's go back to with El Lobo. When El Lobo was in there, the storyline was this. El Lobo, you're gonna be fighting Pepper Gomez. El Lobo, Pepper Gomez is gonna go over. That's it.
Mhm.
Boom. They get paid. They made the shit happen between the booker. Booker says, "Okay, El Lobo, you know what? We're gonna give you an extra $50 with your pay. You gotta go. You gotta lose tonight. I'm gonna give you an extra $50, kid. Okay. Well, on top of it's $25. Making
Hey,
big money.
one of the things I liked about Pepper Gomez is in one of his matches, he pulled out some Louisiana hot sauce and he sprayed it into the guy's eyes and then took him down. That was magical.
That was magical. And back then that made it look believable.
Oh
That
yeah,
was believable. And
yeah.
that was the magic of wrestling back then. And I'm gonna bring back that type of wrestling. People say you can't bring it back. How?
Oh
When the
yeah, we
promoters are
can. We
trying
could
to
revive that shit.
Yeah, but the promoters are trying to go by what's going on today. I'm not worried about what's going on today because what's going on today is what's garbage. How can we bring this brand a better thing? And it's going to be live. It's going to be music and wrestling involved. We'll have some bands going
Oh,
up
dude,
there.
I'll even get in the ring.
We get some bands to interest when people are sitting down and there's a intermission. How do you hold people's interest? Music.
With music. Hell
Bring
yeah.
bring some bands out there. That holds people's interest. That's part of the show. They can help promote a main event. you know, and we bring in, let's say, for an example, Papa Roach, for an example. Papa Roach, they come out, they do their show. They're promoting the main event. They're helping advertise the main event. So that's what brings the money, the revenue.
That would be awesome.
We also pay Papa Roach, but they're the ones that pumping up the main event. So they sing their song, and the guy comes out with their song, and they go out there with that. Stuff like that. But it can hold people's interest. We got to do something different. I'm sick of seeing the same shows every time you look at it. It's the same thing. You remember when Monday Night Wars was going around? It was WCW and WWE going at it. One was live and one was pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Who was live and who was pre-recorded? WCW was live and WWE was pre-recorded. Why? Because Vince was a genius because he wanted his shows better than WCW. But WCW was sent a platform, basically an idea of what was going to happen for WWE Raw. If we watched, they were kind of telling you certain scenarios what was going to happen with DX. What was the other names of DX? It was the Click. All these brands of different names like NWO was telling us a storyline with the Click, DX, stuff like
Hey,
that.
don't forget this one, Broadway. Watch it. Hold on. Suck it.
Boy, that right there, The Rock.
You remember that one?
Speaking of The Rock, The Rock is going to be on WrestleMania this year.
No shit. That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
He's going to be wrestling this year, WrestleMania in April 6th or April 7th. I don't know which day he's going to be on, either Saturday or a Sunday, but they're trying to. There's some surprises, but they were saying that he was trying to wrestle Seth Rollins. I don't see that. They're talking about maybe him wrestling Stone Cold Steve Austin again. That's possible, but they were talking about
like to
him
see
and
them
Triple
too.
H. Well, they were
That's
saying
the
him and
bottom
Triple
line.
H.
Oh, now them and Triple H would be a
Him and
savage
Triple
ass
H.
match.
Well, I can see that because they're already building the storyline already.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the stuff, what's going on with the Bloodline, and then with Triple H, that's building a storyline for Triple H and The Rock.
That's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. Hey, here's a name for you guys. Okay, Billy Jack Haynes. And one of
legend.
yes, and one of our members, Phil D. Asaro, who's not here today, El Guapo, he was talking about it was probably a brain injury that caused him to kill his wife. So Billy Jack Haynes is in a lot of trouble. He's been arrested. And I believe in the brain injury hypothesis that Phil came up with, because that's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is CTE, the same thing that football players get, like Aaron Hernandez. And he went out there and killed his best friend and everybody else. He killed, I think, like 3 people. And he was in football. And they say that this brain injury is an entanglement of protein called Tau that gets built up in the brain after repeated head impacts. And it causes Alzheimer's, it causes dementia. And Aaron Hernandez had it terribly bad, and he went out and killed people. And now you got Billy Jack Haynes killing his wife because of this CTE. And they said that 345 people out of 376 NFL deceased players had CTE. That's a lot.
Oh, damn. That's a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of
Man,
wrestlers get it.
And you look at it now. Can you pull up the story, Paul, of was this in the early? This was early in the early '90s when it was about these train with these 2 boys in a train track. They got murdered out there by a train track, and Billy Jack Haynes was right there when that shit happened. He said he seen some. Now people were saying that Billy Jack did that, and he said, "No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I seen what happened." And he was going to go for it, but he couldn't because the mafia was after him because he was a drug dealer. You know, he was a drug dealer and he was out there making his money. He was doing some things. But there's also a big thing saying that did he actually went out there and kill those 2 boys? He said he didn't do it, but other people were saying maybe he had something to do with it.
Wow.
You know,
I didn't know about that.
Oh, it's on online. You know,
It's all over the place.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Terry? You know what
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
about? And with the 2 boys get killed on the train.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to look that up. And another person who had CTE was Chris Benoit, and he killed his 2 children and his wife. That's another one. And
Terry, tell us about since that's what you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, Chris Benoit, man. They say it was a steroid outrage, and that he ended up strangling both his wife and his son. So he used the cross crippler move on his son to kill his son. Then he hung himself after he killed both his wife and his son.
Can you picture that?
Right.
I was watching that the other day, but here's the thing, though. I was watching this. Really go back and really watch this whole story, how it all started. Watch all the different videos. Watch all the different things that people have been saying about Chris Benoit, and watch what they be saying because somebody was behind that whole thing. Somebody was behind it. Somebody murdered that family. Somebody made it like Chris Benoit killed his family.
He went haywire.
But they were all murdered. I believe that's my theory of it. Somebody knew.
Yeah, the whole story sounds completely off.
I mean, there's a lot of stories behind this story. So the truth is there, but we don't know the whole truth.
Even the Insane Clown Posse, I believe, wrote a song about Chris Benoit, if I remember.
Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah, I believe they have a song. It's actually called Chris Benoit.
Hey, you guys, I found the information about Billy Jack Haynes, and I'm going to read it to you. Billy Jack Haynes, a former professional wrestler, has made startling claims about the infamous Boys on the Tracks case. According to Haynes, he witnessed the murders of two young boys, Kevin Ives and Don Henry, on August 23, 1987, in Alexander, Arkansas. The tragic incident involved the boys being hit by a train which dismembered the bodies. At the time, a state medical examiner ruled the deaths as a suicide. And according to Billy Jack, he says he didn't kill the boys, but he did participate in disposing of them. As he described his role in the events that night, he assisted with getting them up on the tracks and laying the rifle down next to the boys once they were placed on the tracks, says Ronzavall. Wow, I didn't know.
Well,
that's a crazy story right there.
Paul, if you really look at it, there's a lot to that story. Really go online and listen to his side of the story of it. And there's another side of the story that was on, I believe it was on America's Most Wanted back then. So I believe that there was a story on that online. So on YouTube, you could check that out. That's that story was crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this until I knew bits and pieces, but goddamn, this story's so crazy.
And he lived in Portland, Oregon. He lived in Portland, Oregon, him and his wife, and he just went berserk on his wife. I mean, what was the whole concept of him killing his wife? I know he was ill, and he even looked kind of worse as you really watch. If you really look at his appearance, he'd be on the Hannibal TV, and he's done interviews and stuff. He kind of looked kind of off, like something was really wrong with him.
He also apparently videotaped the deaths as well.
Yeah, but Billy Jack I heard that he was a guy that you didn't want to fuck with in real life. That guy would take your head off with one hit. In his younger days, there was and I think it was a work. Him and Hannibal had a feud. Hannibal TV, he's a wrestling deal up in Canada. If you watch Hannibal and Billy Jack Haynes, they had a feud, and it was a good feud, and you guys should watch it. It's pretty good.
Wow,
but Billy Jack was a motherfucker back then. I mean,
do you know how Billy Jack got his name?
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, from the
Billy
movie.
Jack. Yeah, he took the idea from him, and the original dude that played Billy
tried to sue him,
but he said, "You know what? The only thing is different. You're a wrestler. I'm a cowboy. I'm an outlaw. So I'm an outlaw. You're a wrestler. Go ahead and have it, bro." He let him have it. He could have sued him, but the only thing is, you're Billy Jack Hayes. I was Billy Jack the Kid, basically. He was just an outlaw. But that was a good movie, Billy. That was a good movie.
Hey, do you guys know about the plane ride from hell?
No.
Oh, let's bring that up, man.
You want me to read a little bit of it?
If you guys don't mind, we might go a little bit over time, but yeah, let's go ahead. We can go a little bit over time tonight. Let's go.
All right, here we go. The infamous plane ride from hell took place on May 4, 2002, during a chartered flight from London to the United States. This chaotic incident involved WWE wrestlers and staff, and it remains one of the professional wrestling's most notorious scandals. And here's a few things that happened. Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Hennig. A friendly tussle between Brock and Kurt escalated into a heated argument over who was the better amateur wrestler. Their competitive nature nearly led to an emergency exit door being opened. Ric Flair's exhibitionist, wrestling legend Ric Flair, clad only in his robe, allegedly exposed himself to the stewardess and engaged in sexual harassment. He even prevented one of the flight attendants from leaving the back gallery. Scott Hall's advances. Scott Hall was also accused of making inappropriate sexual moves towards the stewardess. However, Jim Ross claimed that Hall wasn't involved in the major incidents during the flight. Goldust Serenade. Goldust Dustin Rose used the flight's public address system to serenade his ex-wife, Terry Runnels, until Jim Ross intervened to prevent further embarrassment. And Michael Hayes' mishap. Michael Hayes, in a drunken state, almost urinated on Linda McMahon, mistaking her for a restroom. And then somebody got their ponytail cut off, and they went berserk. And that was the plane ride from hell.
Holy fuck, man.
That was plane ride from hell.
That's one plane ride I would never want to be a part of.
Oh my God.
It makes me think about that incident that happened was it just last year with Mike Tyson and that guy who was provoking him on the plane, and Mike Tyson just went off on that dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking gnarly, man. He's like, I had enough, bro.
There's been plenty of wrestling with plane rides, kind of like during the time when Pink Floyd, not Pink Floyd, but Leonard Skinner, when they had that plane wreck. And then a few years later, then Ric Flair gets into a plane wreck after Leonard Skinner happened,
I noticed that happens with a lot of celebrities, plane wrecks and helicopter accidents. Like Travis Barker, he survived a plane wreck, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was actually one of the only few survivors. Yeah.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, you got Leonard Skinner. You got a couple.
Yeah, and that was a bad plane ride anyway with Leonard Skinner. But with that was a whole mystery on how some of them survived. That's over all of them were dead except for a few.
Yeah.
Man. But Wrestle News Buzz, man, with this new Wrestle News Buzz, we're getting back into this every Sunday. We're gonna bring in maybe once a month. We're gonna bring in a guest on the show. We'll be on Roku with Off the Hook Network. Check us out on there. We're coming up real soon. We got Shit Talking Sundays, AG the Dad. We got them coming on. We got my boy Don Dino, the artist that I'm getting going. He's with the May Gang. Getting them out there with Sacktown 916 Records and Entertainment. We're getting that up and running very soon. We're getting all the websites. We're getting everything together. This is going to be big. We got X Talk Box coming out soon with on Off the Hook Network. That's another platform. What I got going on is going to be with music. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about all types of genres of music and have fun and whatever else. It don't have to be always music, but that's the majority of it is going to be music, so anyway, this Thursday we got the Sanitarium. Check out the Sanitarium this Sunday. We got Purple Sticky. coming up this Thursday. So we'll keep it posted on the times. I believe it's the same time, just different day. 6 p.m., 9 Eastern. So I believe it's around that time. If I could be wrong, but
hey, you guys, you were talking about those plane crashes. Some of the celebrities that died on plane crashes, like Glenn Miller, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, Patsy Cline, Jim Reeves, Otis Redding, Jim Croce, Leonard Skinner, Randy Rhoads, Ricky Nelson, Stevie Ray Vaughan, John Denver, Aaliyah. There was a lot of stars that died in plane crashes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of people in plane crashes. I mean, you look at the and they were all young.
Yeah,
a lot of them were hella young.
Aaliyah, man, she just finished her last movie. Was it Queen of the Jam right before she passed away?
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. I love that movie.
Yeah, me too. I love that movie. Yes,
a good movie. But man, that was crazy. But anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, I think we got everything covered.
Yeah, pretty much. This was a good one.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, but it's a last minute thing. We didn't really promote it like I should have. But as we get going, we're going to promote this thing. This is going to be we're going to make noise on this. So let me get this stuff together for all of us so we can start promoting it and you guys can help put it out there.
Yeah, I want the link to this show so I can place it on my timeline and in my groups.
Yeah, I'm also going to be trying to get a hold of my homeboys Hard Knocks that I used to promote music for. They've done stuff with like Kick the Sneak from the Bay Area, so I'll try to see if they'd be down for an interview.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just
they're really, really solid guys.
Okay. And we'll figure it out. But on that X Talk box, I got a co-host, and I'll probably put you guys on through me and Telly talked about it, and I don't know if this is what you guys want to do or don't want to do, but he was like telling me I need to bring up my own people onto this platform because I don't want to steal his guys, and you are his guys.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like talking about, but I don't know if you guys want to let him know. Look, we're here to help everybody out.
Yeah, we're here as a family, like we're here to support each other.
If you
make this channel work out.
That's fine. You could let him know,
we're all family.
Exactly. So I told him I don't want to step over his toes, but he's, I love Face, man. I got my own other people coming up with X Talk Box, but with the Wrestle News Buzz, I see us doing this. I like doing this with us. And it started off with this. So, but X Talk Box is going to be different. I got a co-host with that. I might bring you guys on, get you guys on there. Maybe like a, how could we call it? The sounds of music of something like you guys we talk about the music videos and stuff like that. We could talk about that. We could play and talk about music, and I'm sure we can give our point of views of all kinds of genres of music.
I'd be extremely good with that. Like I said, I've been DJing for the past 20 years. DJing's been my profession.
Okay, well then shit, man, we could start getting this stuff together, but if you guys want to be a part of it, I'm not saying you can't. I'll be more gladly to add you guys on it. We can get something together if that's what you want to do. I just like to have fun and talk about music, better than wrestling.
Hey, I want to also too. Have you guys all heard about backyard wrestling, right?
Oh yeah, I used to do it quite a bit.
Oh, okay. My son, my stepson, Jason Randall Porter, he used to call himself 8 Ball, and he used to do backyard wrestling. And one time they did a ladder match right in our front yard, and this girl was driving a car, and she was watching them do this ladder match, and she smashes into the neighbor's back of their car, just totaled it, and they got it on video. It was like, oh my god! And Jason couldn't help but laugh. It was just so funny. But I mean, the poor girl smashed her car right in our neighbor's back of their car.
That was a big bill for her.
And the backyard wrestling, they used to air it on Sacramento TV. So yeah, they used
The Access,
yeah,
Sacramento
Access. Yeah, Sacramento Access. Yeah,
I think I remember that.
yeah. How old are you?
TWF.
How old are you, Terry?
I'm 37 now.
Okay, then you probably wrestled with my son when he was doing it.
Probably.
He's 37, and he was doing backyard wrestling, and you were. So you guys probably hooked up or did something.
Yeah, we did it all throughout Sacramento. We did a lot here in Roseville.
Yeah. Isn't it a small world? Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Man. The things you learned today.
Right?
Hey, man, you just never know, man.
Never know.
Never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Yep.
So before I started doing the stunts, I was actually really obsessed with wrestling, and that's kind of what pushed me to do the stunts that I perform. You know, I have to mentally prepare myself every single stunt that I do. That's how I end up blocking out my pain receptors. I prepare myself ahead of time. I say, hey, this is what to expect. I know it's going to hurt, but I can block that pain sensor out.
Right. Yep. Well, I want to appreciate y'all for coming out for another whole new chapter, a new year of Wrestle News Buzz. And I haven't said this to you guys on here, but for Wrestle News Buzz, I know it's late, but Happy New Year. It's going to be a whole new a journey
Experience
for this year. Experience. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves talking about wrestling and other news. But anyway, this is yours truly, the one and only Terry the Tank. Yours truly, Paul Dale Roberts, the Demon Warrior.
And then here's my mask. There's my mask back there. And I want to just say one thing before we go. Do you smell what the Broadway is cooking?
Sure do.
That's good. But yeah, well, you know what? One other thing. Do you think, with all this stuff going on with Vince, do you think Vince has something underneath his skin, that there's something that he's doing that's going to be bigger than what he's thinking? Do you think he might bring back WWF and say, fuck WWE, I'm going to bring WWF back? Or
I thought about that, and I think he may.
Or do you think he might have something to do with AEW on the under?
Or he's going to bring back the NWO, the New World Order.
Or WCW?
For life.
Hey, if he brought back WCW, that's going back to the generations.
He can do that. He's got the money.
Right, he does.
It's not like he don't have it. You know, I mean, but then again, who's up saying he owns AEW and we don't know it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he sold WWE 10 years ago and we didn't know nothing about it. Maybe he owns AEW and used Khan as a front man. But who knows? We don't know. But one day the truth will come out. To the next time of Wrestle News Buzz, this is yours truly, Terry the Tank, Paul Dale Roberts.
And this is from
and yours
Backyard
truly.
Wrestling.
Huh?
This is from Backyard Wrestling. Jason Porter's little awards that he got.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, y'all. This is the Terry the Tank, Paul Dale Roberts, the Demon Warrior. This is yours truly, the one and only, the Executioner. And we want to say it was a pleasure time to be out here, entertain you guys, but we'll see you next week. And till then, y'all have a good night, and I'll see you on the next Squared Circle Wrestle News Buzz.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, it was.